Hello and welcome back to my YouTube channel. If you are new here, my name is Ali Jade. I'm 24 and I live in Australia. I post content about a lot of different things, lifestyle, books, all that kind of stuff. I also have TikTok and I stream on Twitch. And I have a gaming YouTube too. I have a lot going on. I'm a bit chaotic, but if you like chaos, you might like to stick around. As you can probably tell by the title of this video, this will be books that I recommend to people that are just getting into reading, just starting, trying to find the genres that they like, what kind of reader they are, like are they more into their mood reading, or you know, there are other types of readers. You kind of just work it out as you go. But these are books that I recommend. I have been reading since I was a kid. My mum took me to the library a lot. And I will be showing you in this video a book series that I read from the library when I was a kid that I now own, and I still read to this day. I will try and go into as much detail as I can about why these are good books to recommend, but again, this is just my personal opinion. You don't have to agree or anything else, but yeah, so we're gonna get into this video. To begin with, we are going to be starting with something that I think, I'm not going to say it's controversial, but I guess it is kind of controversial because the author, as much as I love her, there are a lot of people online that don't. And personally, I think that you should just, I just kicked my wall if you heard that, I'm so sorry. Personally, I think that, like, obviously, you should just read whatever you like. If it's an author that other people don't like, then that kind of sounds like a them problem, not a you problem. Because no matter what, I'm still going to read the books that I like, regardless of what other people think, and I make my own opinions on my own things. But yeah, so the first kind of two books, it's like the same author. We'll go through each one. If you have read Ali Hazelwood books, chef's kiss. Personally, chef's kiss. I think that her books are really, really easy to read. They are really easy to like follow along. They are more on like, they've got a little bit of like spice in them, not usually a lot. She does have YA books though that you can read. I haven't read them yet, so I'm not going to like recommend them, but the two books that I have read from her, and I think that they're great, like starting to read kind of books, are the Love Hypothesis and Love on the Brain. Both of these books I love. This was my first ever book that I brought when I started getting back into reading in probably like 2021, and then it went downhill from there. If you've seen the video on my TikTok, you know exactly what I'm talking about, but I do recommend these two books personally if you are getting into reading, just because they are very easy to read. They're very fast paced. I just really liked them, and I felt like they were really fun as well to read. I think I liked Love on the Brain a little bit more than the Love Hypothesis, but they're both really good books. So these two I definitely recommend if you're getting into reading. Anyway, we're gonna move on to one that has a little bit more spice than the other books, but I just think that it's like a really good kind of branch into the more spicier books. Now, I'm not saying dark romance, I'm just saying in general, like the more spicier books. I would definitely recommend Tessa Bailey's My Killer Vacation, or Fix Her Up, but that is a little bit bigger, whereas this one is quite a small read. So it's not as daunting to go into if you haven't really read a lot of spicy books or anything like that. So I do recommend this one. Personally, I loved this so much. It was very fast paced, like it happened so quickly. The characters were amazing. I loved them both. Seeing their relationship progress throughout the book was like, it was just so cute. And like I said, I personally just recommend this one if you're trying to get into spice, because it's not too much to the point where you're like, what did I just read? But it's enough to kind of like slowly get you into the more spicier type of books that the world has to offer, and I do recommend them. But I'm gonna go into a couple of YA ones as well, for my YA readers out there. So yeah, so far we've got My Killer Vacation by Tessa Bailey, and then The Love Hypothesis and Love on the Brain by Ali Hazelwood. as kind of getting into reading books. But we are going to move on to another one that I'm going to be completely honest with you guys here. I've only read the first 3 books of this series. It is the Shatter Me series. If you like dystopian and you like Hunger Games and you like Divergent and all that kind of stuff, I do believe that you will like this book. I think that it was really a fun, fast-paced read. Personally, I would recommend this if you want to get into like series and stuff. I'm not bringing down the whole series. I do have a majority of it, except a couple of the novellas. The characters, the progression, you know, you kind of fall in love with all of the characters, and then you fall out of love with some of them, and you hate some of them, and then you don't hate some of them, and it's chaos. But it is so much fun in this world that I do recommend, like, if you read like Harry Potter and stuff like that, and you know, Hunger Games, you will probably like this book. So if you are wanting to get into reading, I would recommend this one a lot for the dystopian fantasy types. Before, like, you know, if you want to get into it before going to some of the more bigger world buildings like ACOTAR or, you know, Fourth Wing, or all of those kind of books where it is a bit more world building. There is a lot of world building in this, but I feel like personally it kind of seemed like to me like it was really well spread out throughout the series, at least the first 3 books, where the world building is kind of set to kind of learn about it as you go. So it's not just you have to read it in the first book and it's done and there's no more world building. No, there is world building throughout the first 3 books at least. So I think that's a really good book to start with, and a really good series to start with as well. The next book that I'm going to be recommending is like a very easy, cute YA romance. Like when you're getting into reading, is definitely Better Than the Movies by Lynn. I love this book so much. The characters Liz and I think it's Wes. Yeah, Liz and Wes, they are so cute together. There's like little movie quotes throughout it. I think it's each chapter there's like a quote from a movie. Yeah, like I'd rather fight with you than make love with anyone else. The Wedding Date, that was a really horrible one. That was really bad. Maybe I could find a quote that's not like that. That would be great. That's just depressing. Just because she likes the same bizarro crap you do doesn't mean she's your soulmate. Okay, well, it is a cute book. I promise you that right now. But I definitely recommend it, as it is quite an easy read, and it's a happy ending, and it's just overall fast-paced, cute, fluffy. It's just easy to read. But that's just me personally. Please remember that these are books that I found easy to read myself. These are books that I'm personally recommending to read if you're getting into reading. This does not mean that you're not going to pick up this book, try and read it, and find it really confusing. Or this book. Like, it doesn't... These are just my personal recommendations. But yeah, so I personally recommend Lynn Painter's Better Than the Movies as a starting to, like, fluffy romances and stuff like that. Especially because it is YA, but I'm 24. And I absolutely adore this book. So yeah, and the last series that I'm going to show you is one that I don't think I've really seen on TikTok much. It should be on TikTok. I love this series so much. This is the first series that I ever started reading. But the last series that I'm going to be showing you that I think are probably the best series I've ever read, especially when getting into it, because they are 100% YA. They are fantasy. There is romance. There's pretty much a bit of everything. If you like zombies, yep, they're in there. It is the Alice in Zombieland series by Gena Showalter, I think. I first read these when I was in high school, and I was going like to the library with my mom. I absolutely adore these books. The covers are just so pretty as well. They're super fast paced. There is like one scene that is not until like the 3rd or 4th book, I think, that is spicy a little bit, not much, not like barely. Okay, so don't worry if you're, you know, watching this and you're like, oh my god, my 13-year-old could read that. She still can, or he still can, or they still can. It's not that bad. Like, it's not honestly anything to be worried about. But yeah, so again, That's the third book. It's really pretty. And then the fourth book. I usually don't mess around with covers that have people on them, but this is the one series that I'm okay with having like actual people on. But it's pretty much like, I can't really explain it without spoiling a lot of it, but if you have seen the Shadowhunters TV show on Netflix, it's kind of the same vibe of Clary and Jace in this book. It's two worlds kind of coming together, and I'm speechless when it comes to this book. I love this series so much. It definitely holds a special place in my heart, so that's why I'm going to recommend these ones as a series to get you into reading. It's like I said, it's YA. You've got the fantasy, you've got the romance, you have, you know, the cute fluffy, you've also got the not so cute, but that has to do with the zombies, so you don't really have to worry. But yeah, so I definitely recommend these if you're getting into reading. If you want to like start on a series, I again adore these books. These are my babies, these are my life. These are like literally, I would, if my house was to burn down, these are the books I would grab. These four right here. And my cat, but she's not a book, so it doesn't count. This series I would take with me, honestly. Out of all of my books, I would save these before any other ones so far. That might change. I might do a video on that one day. That'd be fun. What books would I take out if my house was burning? See, that's just stupid. Anyway, right, so those are the books that I recommend to people if they're just getting into reading. If you're wanting to start reading, and you're not really sure where to start, but you know that you like fantasy, then you've got, you know, Shatter Me, this one, or you've got these ones. If you want like the romance, you got these ones with a little bit of spice, or like the YA, or then you've got the more spicier one. I just recommend these in general, to be completely fair. I love all of these books, not just because like they're easy to read, but just in general, like they are quite high on the star reviews for me, so it definitely would recommend these anyway. But I 100% recommend these books in particular if you're just getting into reading. But yeah, so that's going to be it for today's video. I appreciate you coming out and hanging out so much. If you did like this video, don't forget you can like and subscribe. Subscribing is completely free. And yeah, so thank you so much. I appreciate you guys being here, and I hope to see you in the next one. Bye.